Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I'm a plague tale, innocence.
And I'm Claire, and I am a killer witch.
Oh. And this is...
Make That Game, where we pitch the latest,
the greatest,
new video game ideas
that won't ever get made.
No.
I forgot our whole business there. I just paused.
That was our business. Was that not our business?
I guess, yeah.
I thought that was our business. No?
No.
All right.
I mean, sometimes our business is that I pause for comedic effect, but that time was not intentional. It was just...
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, we're getting back into it. It's a new year. New year, new us. We've completely revolutionized.
Well, we did have an episode already this year.
Yeah, released on the first of the year.
Nope. On the second.
Oh, wait, the first wasn't Tuesday?
The first was Monday.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm setting the tone for 2024.
This is 2024. This is us in 2024.
Yeah.
Get ready. The best podcast year of your life.
Yeah. There will be fun galore.
Yes, that's a reference to another podcast.
Yeah, podcasts. All right. So what do we do here to remind people? Because last episode, even though it was the first of a new year, was a weird one. This is the first normal one of a new year.
Yeah, so we start off by just pitching each other video game ideas. Neither of us have heard the other's idea yet, and we're just going to talk about those ideas.
Yep. All right. Hey, how about you go first?
All right. Okay, so I was
pitching it back and forth there, playing hot potato. I won.
I saw a TikTok of someone talking about the game SkiFree. Do you remember this game?
Yeah, the old Windows, came on Windows 98.
Yep.
Yeah, the Yeti.
Yes, the TikTok was actually about the Yeti specifically, just because it was so funny.
He's a buddy. He's
so
a guy.
Here's just for those who don't know, who were born after the year 2000, probably don't know. Basically, I mean, you use your mouse, right? Or can you probably do arrow keys too. I think I use the mouse.
I don't remember the gameplay.
I think I use the mouse. So
I don't think I ever made it more than 100 feet down a mountain.
Basically, you're just free falling down a mountain. I think you literally just moved the mouse or arrow keys to change your direction so you didn't hit obstacles.
Yeah, you can only go left and right, I think.
Yeah, and you could also jump. So you could jump over things.
Oh, that wasn't just a function of hitting a ramp or something?
I'm pretty sure you could click the mouse to jump.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I was going to look up actually an emulator of this, but I couldn't. I forgot. So, so you go over the jumps, you blah, 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 and then eventually a Yeti comes out of nowhere and eats you. This Yeti looks like it was drawn by a 3-year-old child. It's a very good game is what I'm saying. And very simple, very addicting. And I was like, okay, but what if it was a cat skiing instead?
Okay. All right.
So it's a cat on skis. And then I was like, well, we got to add a little more to it.
Yeah, you can't just change the graphics. You can't just do a graphical mod here.
So I took a page out of Isaac's book, and it's going to be a game with different parts. So different types of games in a game.
Okay.
So basically, you're a cat who lives in this big mountain range, and the only way to travel is on skis. And it's going to be so cute. You've got to get the little skis for their little feet. You got a little scarf. You got a little hat. Oh, obviously.
Okay.
You know, I love a customizable option. Maybe that's stuff you can win or buy. So it's kind of if you want to think about it like Oregon Trail meets SkiFree, I think is the best kind of way to describe it. So you're trying to travel from one end of the mountain range to another. I don't really know why. We can work on that later. That's story stuff to work on later. But you start off a level playing basically SkiFree, pretty much the same. There might be more obstacles. I don't think we'll have a Yeti. That's probably TM. But also, I don't want the cat to get eaten because... and you'll be collecting things. So I think SkiFree, you just wanted to see how long you could last without getting eaten. Wasn't that the point?
I think so. And I don't think the Yeti was avoidable. I think there was a point in time where it just came on screen. Yeah. It was randomly decided that
that's when it happened.
You would lose the game.
But you could also you'd fall over, so you'd lose time that way. So it was more of a speed game. Whereas this one, you're going to be collecting resources.
Okay.
To I guess it's kind of also Animal Crossing. You collect resources, then you land in a town. So it's always going to be mountain, town, mountain, town, mountain, town.
Okay.
In the town, you can craft with the resources, sell the resources for money, and then use the money to buy other resources, fun things, power-ups, etc.
Okay. All right.
So that's the game, and you're trying to make it all the way across this mountain range.
Gotcha. And it's always skis, or can you like get a snowmobile?
I like
as,
that.
like, an
Yeah, maybe
upgrade?
that could be an upgrade. So
Okay.
you're like earning towards different modes of transportation. But I think it also,
Snowboard.
we have to like increase the danger to each mountain you go. So,
Oh yeah,
you
more
know, there's-
obstacles, more Yetis.
right. Well, there's no Yetis, but there could be other types of cryptids maybe.
Well, so you're a cat, so dogs and wolves.
Yeah,
Natural
sure.
enemy of cats.
Sure. And then like avalanches and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah. So there's going to be like a life management system, you know, like health and
Good.
then
Is there going to be a good and evil system?
No.
Can you gain good points and evil points?
you know, it could be fun if you had like I know you're just pulling my leg, but like imagine you had like a what do we call it? Like an item quest like in Link's Awakening.
Oh yeah. The trade quest.
And
yeah.
it's like if you complete them you get good points and if you ignore them you get evil points. But I don't know what that would result in the end. But that could be a fun little mechanic too.
If you purposefully run over other skiers, evil points.
Because I like the idea though of the tasks because then it also gives you other ways to play. So like you could
Yeah.
just see how fast you can get through it. You could see how many upgrades you can get. And that way it gives replayability too. Like, oh, I didn't complete this side quest with the lumberjack, so now I'm going to do the lumberjack quest, or you know. So I like that too. But that's the game. I actually don't have a name for it, which is rare for me. But
Ski cat free.
cat ski.
Cat ski.
It's one word.
Yeah, cat ski.
Cat ski. All right. Well, that's my game.
Wow, what a game.
What a game.
I'm willing to buy it on Steam right now for $3.99.
That's pretty low, but you know, all right.
I just threw out
Maybe
a
like
random
at least
number.
like $9.99.
Okay, all right, I'll give that to you.
Okay, all right.
$11.99 final offer.
Oh yeah, sure. That's not how you bargain though. You don't go up after I go down.
Dang it! Foiled by my own. Oh wait, hoisted by my own petard.
No, you're foiled by your own petard.
No, petards don't foil.
Wait, is foiled mean is that's a fencing reference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Folks, today I learned. I didn't know. I never thought about it.
Or at least I think it.
Well, what else would it mean? Like tinfoiled again? I don't think so.
Tinfoiled again.
That's a good name for a game.
That's actually conveniently my game idea.
All right. Well,
my game idea doesn't have anything to do with tinfoil, but no. I actually don't have a name for my game. This is let's see. I'm trying to compress it down into 2 words for a pitch. Feng Shui Tetris. That's 3 words. Dang it. I always mess up. All right. The idea is the story, all right, that sets this up, because this is important. This is very important. You are a room designer. What a decor. What would the word for this be? What's the actual profession?
Yeah, a designer, interior designer.
Interior designer. That's what it is. You are an interior designer who's tasked with arranging people's houses. And the way that this comes out in gameplay is they have set furniture. Stage 1, client approaches you. You get like a little conversation tidbit. Step 2, you see what they're currently working with. You get the shape of the room, and you get the furniture that they currently own, and they have a couple pieces labeled must-haves, and then there's things that you can
just
remove.
like the Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like
DLC.
so far, we're
Yeah.
just Animal Crossing Happy Paradise Planning or whatever.
Yeah.
But it changes. Don't worry.
I'm worried.
You
I'm not
can
worried.
then they also have a budget, so you can buy new items from a pool that you think will match their styles and stuff. But then here's the twist. Next stage, the actual designing part, the room becomes like a Tetris board, I guess a board, and then the furniture pieces get shuffled up and drop down randomly. And then you have to work with the design, like you have to put them down exactly like Tetris pieces, so they'll be falling down, and then your only decision is like where they fall, and you've got to fill the room as much as possible, incorporating as much stuff as possible with the various shapes as you're given them. Folks, I think this is a stinker of a game.
No, well, first question is how will you account for negative space? Because you don't want a room to just be literally furniture the entire square footage. Like, will there be like...
so like in my head, like a rug would not be negative space. Like it would be a several tiles, like a square tile.
But
or
like looking at this room, like see, there's about like a foot of floor in between the two rugs here. So like, does that exist or no?
That would exist in the form of, like, you can stack Tetris blocks in ways that they would have
holes.
Empty space.
Yeah,
with
but
holes,
not
and
like,
those
okay, what if you got like a rug?
floor.
Okay, all right.
And like,
okay,
technically that would probably be a bad thing.
Here's where I'm struggling. I don't know who plays this game because I feel, and I'm not sure, because personally I love the interior design elements of games.
Yeah, it doesn't really give it, because it's randomized. It doesn't give you any control over the interior. It's not really an interior design game. That's just the theming.
Right. And I think a Tetris themed interior design game is interesting, but because you have the other two elements in the beginning where you like actually like get to think about what the room looks like, and then you're forced to not do your design at all.
It's not really so much about thinking about what the room looks like. It's thinking about the shapes of the pieces that you have to work with and planning.
Well, you didn't describe it that way. You described it as
I wanted there to be a twist in the description, you know? But yeah, that would be part of it, is like you'd look at it and they'd have like one really messed up shape must have that you're like, how am I going to work with that? And you're like, all right, let me throw out these other messed up shapes and buy some more convenient shapes within their budget.
So it's not, I wouldn't even call it like designing then. It's more just like, I mean, like you get to select the shapes. I don't think it's really a consultation because you're not going to select it.
No, that's just the story.
I know, but I guess I'm bummed because you're not, well, you're not bummed, but you can't sell it like that because you're not selecting the vibe of the room. You're selecting the shapes in the room, which is an interesting take on Tetris. I think it wouldn't be, the holes wouldn't necessarily be bad. I think it's like you do have to fit every piece in the room.
Yeah.
That's how it's different than Tetris 2 because rows aren't going to delete, right? That would be insane.
Correct. What might happen is if it might complete sections, as in like you would get bonus points for like filling in all the space in a certain area or something. That's my game idea. It's trash, folks. We're throwing it in the bin.
No, it's not trash. I do think it's a really interesting take on Tetris. I will say I'm personally struggling. Maybe
there is negative space as shapes that can drop down. Maybe the way that it works is you buy all of the shapes. Like once you have like the initial setup, you've thrown out the shapes you don't like, you've bought new shapes of furniture, then it compares like the number of tiles that can fill and then randomly divvies up the rest of the space into smaller shapes, and those are negative space chunks that blocks that fall down. So like if you have like 9 tiles of negative space, it'll give you like 3 tile objects that drop down, which isn't Tetris. To be clear, we're not sticking to the Tetronimo shapes. We're getting wild with it.
Yeah, I figured as much on that one. That was,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it is cool. I think when you sold it to me as a design game, and then you're like, you don't get to design anything.
Yeah, sorry.
I see your twist, but yes, that was why I was like, I don't know about that. But if you are just doing it based on shapes, that's cool.
Yeah. Also, I mean, did you know that someone finally beat Tetris?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know no one had beaten Tetris before. I figured sometime in its 30 whatever year history, like someone would have beaten it, but I guess what I really thought is that there was no actual end and it just looped forever.
Right. I wouldn't have expected there to be an end, but there is. I feel like Bop It has an end, but it's actually really easy to get there.
Bop It has an end?
Yeah.
I've never played Bop It.
New Bop It, you end at 100 points, which I think is absolute trash. Like that's way too short of a game. Old Bop It, I don't actually remember the point score, but like there is a point where it's like, good job, and just stops. Like it's like, we did it. It does give you a score, but the score is coded with like bops, and like one whistle is 100 and like one boom is 10. And
so I can't whistle on air. I just tried to, but like as I was doing so, I stopped myself because I realized a shrill whistle right into the microphone. Probably not ASMR.
Anyway.
Speaking of ASMR, no, that's
your next game. No.
Video game discussion.
Yeah, so we've done the pitches, and now we're going to discuss a topic about video game design.
Yeah. So the discussion topic that I want to talk about today is mechanics and storytelling. Storytelling via mechanics specifically. So the game that I just pitched does not actually do this. It doesn't use its mechanics to tell a story because, as you pointed out correctly, the mechanics do not give you the feel of an interior designer. It's the opposite. It's random. You don't get any real design control. It's the opposite of what I'm talking about. So weird that I chose this as the topic of discussion today, especially when I have the antithesis of it. But I figured it's something to talk about. And if we've already talked about it before, because this is kind of
I feel like we
digging up
definitely
memories.
have already talked about it before, but
you can listen to the old episode, tell us which one it is for our interest, and then tell us how much we've grown.
Yeah, tell us which one's better.
Yeah, which discussion you agree with more, because maybe our ideas have changed.
Maybe.
Or this could be word for word the exact same thing, in which
I don't know if that's true. I think, and I don't know if we've talked about it exactly in this way. I don't know. No. So anyway, we'll talk about it. We might have
touched on it, but yeah. So some games do a very good job of using mechanics to like define the story, to further tell the story. Many games do not. Many games don't even give it consideration. And one of the most well-known examples of it, I think, is like in RPGs, sometimes main characters or other characters will like die. And everybody who plays it is like, why did we not use the item that revives people? Like, what happened? Like, why is the cutscene so much different from the story? That's like a very loose example.
I was going to say, I don't think that's even an example of what you're describing.
Oh.
Well, I guess if the mechanic, are you saying the mechanic?
The mechanics in the story like don't match up.
So wait, are you saying the mechanic though in that sense is the potion for health? Okay, then I guess I would think more. I thought more mechanics as like physical actions.
Yes.
But I guess
gameplay / mechanics encompasses quite a lot of things. I'm actually now trying to think of a positive, like I sit down to talk about it and like all of my actual thoughts of it.
Okay, let's talk about Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I feel like that does a good job of it making sense.
Yeah, so all the items that you like, all the weapons that you pick up in the world are like junk garbage, right? Mechanically, they've used that to tell the story of like the villain has revived and he's like cursed the land and everything becomes garbage. And then the mechanic of being able to combine multiple things in like a janky way to like create new equipment and stuff, like I guess that doesn't really tie into the story too well, but it still emphasizes the point, like, hey, as a story,
and also
this stuff is junk.
Other characters do that, like the bogoblins you fight have also janky weapons.
Oh yeah, they put mushrooms on clubs and stuff,
which
and
actually
shows how dumb they are.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, Link can only do that because he has magic from the Sky People. So is that implying that the bokoblins also have magic from the Sky People? Or
so there are other characters that like teach you recipes and stuff. Like, oh, put a sharp rock on a stick, and that's like
what? That never happened to me.
In like the first encampment, I'm pretty sure there's someone who's like, I'm making weapons for people.
Well, I don't talk to people. In video games, so
in video games, no.
I guess though, yeah. So people know how to do that, even though Link needed power to do it. So maybe I'm eating my words here because that doesn't make a lot of story sense, does it? The fact that he was given this power and then people can do it without the power. So why is the power important?
The power just makes it easier for him to do it.
But I was specific,
and he can do it with a wider range of things. I assume is the implication, because he could fuse like two rocks together and make big rock or carriage rock.
I don't know. I feel like, but I was thinking more physically, like the fact, like using the mage hand is hard, and I feel like it would be hard for Link.
Because he's just getting used to it.
There's a lot of buttons. You really have to focus. You can't do other things while you do it.
So, like the clumsiness that Link portrays in the game, because of how I don't want to say clunky, but it's a little clunky.
There's a lot of
to control it,
mechanical, buttons and. You got to hold things down while you're holding other things, and it's not great.
Yep. I guess one positive example of this, and this isn't really exactly what I'm talking about, but there's a game called Bayonetta. It came out a couple years ago. I think more than a couple, maybe even a decade ago at this point. But when it first released, there was a little bit of controversy from the true gamers because it had like a super easy mode where you tap the same button repeatedly and your character basically auto does cool combos. Kind of the point of the game was that you're supposed to do cool, flashy combos and look really awesome while you're doing all these various moves. But like this was just press Y, press Y, press Y, press Y, and your character's like running around. And that is a mechanic that helps tell the story for like lower skilled players because like sometimes there's that disconnect where you're not very good at the game, but the character inside the game is supposed to be like hyper skilled. You're not able to demonstrate that using your own skill. So the developers actually were like, hey, we still want people who aren't as good as this kind of game to like have fun and like live the thrill of this. So we're going to have this one button combo mode. And yeah, that's a cool way of using mechanics to help enforce the story, right? Like not necessarily tell the story.
I understand that. I do feel like that is more of a accessibility feature than a story feature. Because you have to one, turn it on, and two, it's not like it does help someone understand the story if they're not able to achieve it. So that's cool. But I don't know if that's really exactly what we're talking about.
No, yeah, I'm grasping for straws. I really need to write things down.
Also, just pressing random buttons is exactly how I do any game that has combos in it. So it's not different to me.
So your version of Link, your canon Link, just kind of runs and jumps and goblins around.
I mean, he does. You've seen me play Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. Do I know how to use any of the features? Have I ever dodged?
No, what I'm saying is now there's like that's the canon version of Link to you rather than like a more heroic, not so goblin-y kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But like everyone plays Link as a goblin, so that's just how players work.
So wait, can we not think of any game that like really ties the mechanics into the story?
I literally can't anymore. I really needed note cards for this apparently. And this is just like stage fright or like pressure or something.
Oh no.
I don't understand why this is sapped from my brain, but my brain now refuses to access it anymore. So I've ruined my own conversation topic.
Yeah, because I'm struggling. I'm like,
we've also talked about like, and this is a tactile feeling, but it does help tell the story in like Little Nightmares.
Oh yeah, and we talked about
the items,
the like rumble too, like the that's good.
Gives you the feedback and helps you in the loosest sense of story. It helps immerse the player in with what's going on and feel closer to like what's going on.
Oh, it can be funny. Once I was watching a really long cutscene in Tears of the Kingdom, and so I put the controller down because I was like, "This, I can't do anything." And then it was buzzing because it was like doing reactions.
Buzzing against the table.
And I thought that it was my phone, and I kept like looking for my phone frantically for this whole cutscene. And then I'm like, "Oh, no one is texting me. I just am missing all my haptic responses." Well, I guess the moral of the story is that you should try to make your mechanics fit as closely to the story as you can.
Well,
no?
This is one of those more nuanced topics where like it can go either way. Some games are serviced by actually making an attempt to do it, to like get into the nitty-gritty of like what this mechanic is doing, what this mechanic represents as far as the player interacting with the game and how that might imply something about the story. And then sometimes it's okay to just throw it out the window. Like the RPG character dies, why can't I just use an item on it? Like that is an example of it being used, of throwing out mechanics for the sake of story being used ineffectively. Like the people telling that story could have come up with a reason why that doesn't work. In game, they could have like a status effect or something that makes it so that you can't use the revive items on them. And then that naturally slots into the player's brain as, oh, when this character died, that status effect must have been applied to them by what killed them. This now makes sense to me why I did not Phoenix down them. And some people just don't even care that people are thinking about it this way. Some people are like, I'm going to tell my story and my gameplay is going to be completely separated from it, and it doesn't matter. Like in my interior design game, I wanted some loose justification for a weird Tetris game, and I came up with the worst justification. That doesn't make any sense. And that's fine for that game. Unless I sold it as an interior design game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The way you pitched it to me, I would say was incorrect.
Yeah.
In the sense that it would have been blasphemy into this discussion. Because I would say that pitching a game like that, the way you did, and then having it be that gameplay would be too jarring.
Yeah.
But if you just say room Tetris, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying so desperately to think of more examples of what I'm talking about effectively, because I feel like we've gotten all these loose examples.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Hey, listeners, that's what this bit is all about, actually. Email us your examples.
Oxenfree, I guess, kind of does it, because it's playing with time, and you got to use rewind stuff, and I don't know, but Oxenfree is also a very point and click too.
But that could be its own story. Can you jump in Oxenfree?
Yes, you can. You can jump.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Barely though.
Okay. That itself is a mechanic telling a story. Your character can barely jump.
They have regular people abilities.
Yeah. So people who are expecting a platformer, right? Because it's the platformer orientation, right? It's the side view.
Yeah.
You're walking side to side.
It's not platformer though, really.
Yeah, so you're expecting a certain amount of movement, but no, this game tells you, hey, you're a regular person with regular person capabilities. You are not going to be Mario jumping, doing flips, etc., etc. But then I assume time travel comes up at some point, and that's when it's you're a regular person who can also do this.
Yeah,
FYI.
but it's kind of implied that it's not any power you have.
Oh, it's just happening?
Yeah, anyone could have triggered it.
Mm.
Because you have a radio. Oh, that's the best part. Okay, I was trying to remember. I'm I know we turn a dial all the time. You have a radio. That's how you're communicating with all the spirits in the past and stuff. And so the top buttons are you scrolling through the radio frequencies, and you can do that whenever you want. I feel that's a fun.
That's also that's also a mechanic telling the story of yes, you have to use this device, and it explains to you the mechanics of the mechanic.
Yeah, I guess.
In universe, you are scrolling through a radio, and yes, you have to flip through the frequencies. The ghosts or whatever, the past is not just gonna come to you when the story demands it. You actually have to seek it out yourself a little bit, and you have to actually put effort into it. Cool little nifty little things like that. But I assume sometimes a very important message just breaks through on its own.
Oh yeah, sometimes you have to
cutscenes.
I would say they're not really boss battles, but I would categorize them as such.
Okay.
And those you have to use it, and that's the only thing you can do.
How about that painting game? Does that have any good examples? Chicory. Speaking of boss battles.
Well, the boss battles in there are terrible. We all know that. If you want to go back and listen to my honk and bonk of Chicory in episode a million years ago. Yeah, and so basically my complaint there was that the whole gameplay is basically just learning story and painting and solving puzzles. It's a very puzzle solving
and painting
game.
is incorporated into
the puzzle solving, yes. Yeah. But then the boss battles were basically only literal battles, and there's nothing you can battle outside of that. So it's not in Tears of the Kingdom where yes, there's puzzles, but there's also actual villains that you practice combat with. And then so that when you go to the literal dungeons, you have practiced combat before. So it's just, I think, really unbalanced. And that was my biggest bonk of it, was you never practice that
skill,
mechanic.
skill of
ever. So
which implies to you a pacifist game, hey, I'm just going to be puzzle solving all
so
this
then
time.
When you're in the battles, they don't make any logical sense.
Oh.
I guess I would say that parts of it do the mechanic thing really well, because the painting is a part of the puzzle solving.
Isn't it actually brush strokes? Doesn't it involve the touch screen? Or
yeah, it does, but you can do.
Oh, you can also control it with the joysticks.
It's more like MS Paint, so you can brush individually, or you can fill whole sections.
Oh, okay. Nice. Next section of the podcast, we're doing
the rapid fire round,
which is where we generate 3 random words, and then we have to make a game idea, a game name, and a game. Well, I guess the mechanic is the idea.
Well, we have to make a game based on those 3 words.
We have to come up with a game idea based on those 3 words, which involves a mechanic and a name.
And we only have 5 minutes.
And what happens if we don't do that?
No one knows.
No one knows.
We get pretty sad, though.
We do get pretty sad. It kind of takes the wind out of our sails.
All right, let's go.
All right, I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, our words are belief, emphasis, and game.
Game? That's a freebie.
That is a freebie. Unless we can make it not a freebie.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
The game has to be about a game?
I mean, we could. Let's put that to the side because we can use it as a freebie, but it'd be cool if we could work it in.
Belief and emphasis makes me think that this is like
Santa Claus.
Oh.
No, just you go. I want to hear your thought too, though, but that was my first.
I was going to say like a religious cult kind of.
Okay, so Santa Claus. So we're not that far off.
Right,
we're not that far off. No, we could do a cult. Cults are.
What if it's a Santa cult?
Okay.
I'm
listening.
The game part is you make the religion kind of a game. You have naughty and nice rules that you get to set.
Oh man.
And
this
as you
is
go
a
through the
dangerous game.
As you go through the game, you gain various like rules and then like things that people can do, and then you can set it into the naughty or nice category, right?
So okay, so wait, so how are you designing it though? Like, are you given options or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like at the beginning of the game, you're Santa Claus, and there's very easy things like you're given very very basic things. I don't know, like stealing. Hugging and something else, and then you set those into naughty or nice categories, and then depending on the opinions, so then it's like a tycoon kind of game where there's a bunch of people around in the world.
Is that what you're trying to do?
There's a bunch of people in the world, and then they have their own opinions on what things are naughty and nice, and the more things in your cult match up to their existing beliefs, they'll join you. And they'll leave if their cult no longer matches their beliefs, and you're just trying to gain. Ultimately, what it's all about. I don't know where Santa Claus comes into this anymore,
but
it's not
okay.
Santa anymore. But we're still keeping the naughty nice thing for some reason. Your goal is ultimately to make the most money and build the biggest cult compound from the money that you get.
I was a little lost, but then now that it's Cult Tycoon, I'm 100%. I know exactly what that looks like. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, you just you build mega churches to host all your cultists. And
are we calling it Cult Tycoon, or do we want to call it something else?
I think Cult Tycoon already exists.
No,
that name sounds familiar, so I don't think we can use that one.
Can we call it the most dangerous game?
That would imply things about hunting humans.
I know.
Which you're sort of doing, but not in like the murder hunt way. Let's call it...
There is a Cult Tycoon. How? My goodness. Okay.
So the name of the game is So You Started a Cult.
That's fine, but are we allowed to make a game that literally exists, though?
I don't know the gameplay of Cult Tycoon.
Okay.
I assume... our unique feature is the Naughty Nice list. And calling it the Naughty Nice list, like the ability to like set the tenets of your cult as like the main source of appeal. I feel like that's a pretty unique mechanic. I don't know what Cultist Tycoon does. I assume that is more like I assume it's more like a conventional like Zoo Tycoon thing where like you build recruitment centers and churches and stuff. Where this has that, but also it has like because Crusader Kings is like a 4X grand strategy kind of game.
Where are we on time? Are we done?
We've got a minute left.
Okay, so keep talking.
So, you can set the various laws of your kingdom, and like nobles and stuff might rebel against you if you pick laws that don't match their interests. And I'm kind of getting inspired by that, applying it to a tycoon game as the mechanic there.
I can't find Super Cult Tycoon existing. A link that was supposed to send me to it went to a random page on AliExpress, so like that's not it. So I guess maybe it doesn't exist.
Oh, perfect. But are we good with the name? So you started a cult? Bam, 30 seconds left.
Just a quick note on Super Cult Tycoon. So yeah, apparently there is a game called Super Cult Tycoon. It was supposed to take place in Colorado, and you like drive around collecting people and then putting them to work for you.
Okay.
So it's pretty similar to what we were describing, I think.
Gotcha. But we have the unique mechanic.
I hope so. Gosh, I can't. I'm trying to learn more about this game. Did it ever happen? I don't know.
We'll have to
Twitter.
research off pod.
Yeah, I guess. I just wanted to say it on the pod. I don't want to take someone's idea.
You can't copyright ideas. We've talked about this in an episode before.
Yeah. Okay.
You can only copyright implementations of ideas.
Okay.
And so I'm already filing the patent for the naughty nice system.
Okay.
Which is something that you could patent. Yes.
All right. Well, moving on.
All right.
It's time for our second rapid fire game.
I'm going to start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh.
I had to find the
Oh, I thought you already had it. Usually you already have it open.
Right,
you don't tell me when you have it generated.
Usually I'm not looking up Super Cult Tycoon. Okay. Ready? I have it.
I already started the timer.
Okay. Deal, manage, domination.
This sounds like another business management game, which I feel is like most of what we do. So let's come up with a different idea. I feel like, yes, a large portion of our games are our rapid fire round games are business management things because it's pretty easy to do.
Deal is actually talking about a casino and you're the dealer.
Okay.
And
you're dealing out cards.
So you have to manage that, but you're also trying to dominate the casino.
Wait, so you're you're a dealer who is trying who is against the casino they work in?
No, I guess they want to own it. You work your way
up from dealer to owner?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the game is learn them up, and it'll teach you how to count cards.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So your goal is to make sure that everybody loses.
Yeah.
That the house always wins.
Yeah.
Thus gaining you more respect until eventually the owner
and
puts
the
you in
gameplay
their
is
will.
just learning how to count cards for blackjack. And that's I think the house always wins is a great name for it.
The house always wins. All right. Well, hey, easy enough. We've got 3 minutes and 36 seconds left on the clock.
See, I think we did that faster because we took it in a different direction.
Wait, is it learn 'em up kids? The house always wins?
I think that's funnier because it's theoretically teaching children how to cheat at gambling, which are two things.
Good. Yes.
So yes, it is learn 'em up kids. The house always wins.
All right.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wow,
I know we stopped time already, but that took less than 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Kids, so it was there. It's canon.
All right. Final round.
Final round.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we steady?
We're steady.
Are we ready to go now?
Yeah.
All right. I started it.
Breathe. Formula. Lean. Formula makes me think there's got to be a science element to it, a mixing element.
Isn't lean like a street drink?
What? Not that I'm aware of. I was thinking
lean is a drug, also known as purple drink, perp, scissor, syrup. And
I know what purple drink is.
Yeah, it's purple. So the formula is for lean.
Oh,
it's a lean formula. What was the first word?
Breathe.
I got nothing.
I don't think we should. I think we can do better.
We're not doing learn 'em up kids. Purple drink.
I don't know about lean. I think formula we can do a mix 'em up game, but I don't think it should be mix 'em up drugs.
Well, formula can also be like Formula 1 racing.
Okay, all right.
So it could be racing.
What
if you're on a bike, you lean.
Oh, okay. I was gonna go with you want the leanest build. That's also the fastest. So with the least accoutrement, but the fastest.
Okay. But wouldn't you also then just not add any accoutrements?
But then you would lose.
Wait, why would you? Why would you lose?
Because you can't go faster than other people without accoutrements.
Okay, so in my head, accoutrements does not include the engine and wheels of the car.
I was thinking, the quality of wheel,
extra stuff.
No, I was thinking how good the wheels are, how nice your engine.
Okay, so it's kind of like golf score,
booster
or
packs.
a handicap thing where the better the stats of your vehicle are, it modifies your actual ranking. So even if you get number 1 in the race on time,
you have too much stuff.
It's but you have the Turbo X engine.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So what's breathe? How are we going to fit that in? You're on the moon. There's no oxygen on the moon. So You have to also breathe through a helmet the whole time, and that's I don't know.
Okay, surely there is a USB like breathalyzer that you can buy and we can incorporate into the game so that people have to actually blow into it in order to move the car.
I was gonna say, is it that you can only play this game if you're sober or if you're drunk? But
no, we don't actually use the breathalyzer function.
You have to breathe to move the car.
I mean, it's like that game where you do stuff by screaming.
I mean, I guess it could be pretty accessible to people who like have trouble with controllers, right?
Yeah, I don't actually know if because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think breathalyzers manage measure how much you're breathing into
tubes,
it.
There's wheelchairs that can move with like tubes.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of ready-made PC accessories.
No, I don't think that's real.
I don't think. Yeah, never mind. Hey, scrap that. We need to come up with breathe. What?
How much time do we have left?
We have 1 minute and 44 seconds.
Boy. All right. And it's too bad it's not breath because I feel like that has more ways we could go, but breathe.
Yeah.
Maybe your car's alive. Poo poo mole car. It's breathing. You also
my God. So you also have to manage
the needs of the physical needs of your vehicle, which is alive.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We are going somewhere with this. So your car is a living like creature car that you can modify, which is interesting.
But let's keep going.
And so as part of the racing, you're not only like doing your speed, you're trying to do as few add-ons as possible. Which now that it's alive, we can incorporate like performance enhancing drugs and stuff,
and like food bags and like blinders so they don't see other cars. And
and we're still calling them cars in game. They will be called cars, even though they are clearly not. They are living animals. Okay. And
we gotta name it. I think we're good.
And you have to manage their internals.
Have like 30 seconds.
Okay, we've got like 30 seconds. Let's come up with a name. It's I don't know what pui pui means.
No.
I wonder if we can use mole car though.
No, I don't think so. I bet if anything's copyright, it's probably mole car.
Yeah, pui pui is probably just a phrase.
Okay, so drift, animal drift, creature car, comfort car creatures.
Comfort car.
Comfort car.
Comfort car.
Comfort car.
Comfort cars. A racing game. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bam. 8 seconds left.
Woo.
Perfect. Hey, we just did a whole episode of Make That Game.
That was a whole episode. If you want to hear more episodes like this, you can find us on all the platforms, I think. Almost all of them. All the ones you care about, listener.
Yeah, except for you. You know who you are. You care about weird ones.
Yeah.
We don't approve.
So you can find us. You can also find us on social media at Make That Game Pod. Oh. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/MakeThatGame. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/@Make That Game. And if you leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes, it helps us so great, and we love it so much. It's so nice. And if you heard a game, if you want to email us, you can email us makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com, and you can send us in your own game ideas that we'll read on the air, or 3 words that you want us to turn into a game, just like we did in the rapid fire round, or other fun things, but only fun things. If you heard a game today that you think should exist in this big wide world of ours, we encourage you to get out there and make that game.